What's up, everybody? Happy freaking Friday. That's all I gotta say. We made it, and I'm very happy about that. Let's see who we got in the chat already. Artful Doger, what's going on, man? Number one, you deserve the pin for that, to be honest. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day. All right, now I can't see the comments. That wasn't a good idea. Let's pop that out. All right, let me repin you in just a moment. It blocked all my comments. What's going on? It is a great day, isn't it? Cam Vlog, what's going on, man? Welcome back. Did I check out the historical vid? Let's take a look at it, because I did not. Matt's Market, what's going on, man? Finally catching me live. Yes. Finally, man. I made sure I got all the notifications out. And I'm trying something a little different today. Hopefully everybody gets the notifications the way I did it today. What's going on, Doge Noodle? Advantage, my brother, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the streams, man. We've got a little bit to talk about today. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. And I think it'll probably keep us busy for the half an hour we're going here. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm gonna be honest, that dancing Doge is moving a little quick. See if I can speed him down. Tempo's off. Just needs to relax a little bit. A little more. Let's try 62. All right. What's going on with Hut? I've been hearing some people talking about Hut. It seems like it's taken off. Something good's happening there. Feel free to share in the chat. I did not see that one. What's going on, Preezy? Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. Hopefully, everybody's got a good weekend to look forward to here with some stuff going on. Hopefully, that stuff will be interesting. I'm going to hide some of this stuff off the screen. It's kind of in the way. We'll just leave the Doge for now. Let the dancing Doge dance away and enjoy that spotlight. Here we go. How's everybody doing? Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, haven't said that in a while. Click the like button too if you haven't. By the way, guys, that will really help get the views up and let us get a strong start to the stream here. Oops. Twitter notifications going crazy. All right, so let's take a look, guys. So this is really interesting as we roll right into this. This is really interesting. Bitcoin has made new highs. Believe it or not, Bitcoin has made new highs today. We were sitting here all this time waiting for something interesting to happen. We've been talking about how we've been moving up at this really steep rate. We started losing a little momentum, and we were hoping for some touch of the 200 EMA soon, but that this did look like a double bottom. And if we could either break free from this bull flag pattern that was forming and, you know, touch the top again, which did not happen, so it ended up failing the pattern out the bottom. That was one way out, just going straight out. Or, you know, we could do some kind of pullback to here, or obviously one of the EMAs and do a bounce off. We ended up getting a failure of the bull flag pattern. It did not pan out. And then a failure even of this 48 or 49-ish thousand level right here. But we did get down to about 48.5 and a super clean bounce right there, right off the 50 EMA line. Right there. Strong bounce, put us right over the 50,000 mark. Got us right above the previous high, which was 50,500. And we hit people's price target that they had mentally in mind, which was 51,000. Now, it's really important to just kind of look around and just read into the market. Maybe go into the dreaded Webull comment section and just see what people are talking about. Not so that you actually don't take their advice, because most of them are beginner traders. All right, that's a terrible idea. But what you can do is get a good gauge of social sentiment and get a good gauge of what people have set in their heads in their perfect world as their price target, right? And so if you just listen to their conversations and read their comments, you might be able to pick up some gems. What I was able to pick up was that most people, and this was on Webull chat and just on Twitter and different places, most people were eyeballing Bitcoin to 41,000. I'm sorry, to 51,000. A lot of people were saying 51, 51, 51. Just like a lot of people were saying 8 out of 3, 8 out of 3. And Dogecoin to 30. And some people were saying 52, which is why I think we might have a little more movement left before we end up doing any kind of major pullback. But most people were looking at that 51,000 level. We also know that's a whole number. You know, all things considered, it's a whole number. Every $1,000 increment is going to be another little mental level of support or resistance. So going from 50.5 and making a little bit more of a push up to 51,000 even was kind of the price target. And sure enough, we made it all the way up there. We hit it and then we bounced off. So that's what ended up happening. After that, we did try. All right, Webull, charts, please. After that, we did try to linger in this general area. You could see right here. We kind of made 3 attempts there. On that third one, we finally actually hit it. This was close. This was closer, but not quite there. Not quite. It was 59.7, 50.97. People weren't quite satisfied with that. We got one more spring reload off the 50 EMA, made it just above to right under 51,100, and then massive taking of profit. And you see how everybody was satisfied there and decided to sell and short and all that good stuff. That just proves to you that that was a really strong level. And then people bought up the bottom here at right around 50,200, and it's been trading sideways ever since, but kind of just selling off as people are now starting to lock in their profits and understand, okay, we hit the price target. Now there should be some sort of pullback, and then we reload and see what happens next. So that's where we're at. Don't forget, guys, if you don't mind, if you haven't yet, please click that like button and let's try to get our likes up today. Haven't been getting a lot of clicks from our usuals, and it does impact viewer count, unfortunately. Thanks to the good old YouTube algo. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're at 10 now. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. All right, so some of you guys are in Hut. That's cool. Rick is the man. Bought real low at 6.21. Hut is a play that we bought up and it's been rocking. Awesome. That's great. That's great. Thank you, Crypto. Appreciate that, Crypto Critter. I've been meaning to check out some of your streams too, man. I'll check some of those out. Glad to hear you guys found a little something to make some money on. Mr. Big Time. Yeah, Rick's the whale. We all know. Thank you. 12 likes. Appreciate it, guys. Some crypto mining stocks have been outperforming crypto the past month. I'm not surprised. We've been having some rough times here. What's up, Josh? Welcome back to the stream, man. Glad to see you with that nice big rocket next to your name again. As you know, things are as they should be. All right, guys, but taking a look back at Bitcoin before we go into the Dogecoin chart here, what you can see is that Bitcoin is struggling. It is now struggling. It has been selling off. I don't want to look at the 1 minute time frame. Like I said, looking at the 1 minute time frame just gets you in trouble. You really shouldn't be doing that unless you are. If you know at that moment, based off the other time frames you looked at, that you want to look for an entry, that's when you bring it down to the 1 minute, and then you get off the 1 minute as quick as you can. Do not stare at crypto charts on the 1 minute time frame. You will start making a lot of mistakes. You're basically looking at, with all the volatility in crypto, there is only but so much price action information that you actually need to observe. If you start putting it down to the 1 minute and you just see all these wild, what looks like wild fluctuations, even though they're barely any percentage moves, you might emotionally FOMO into making a decision, or panic into making a decision that doesn't make sense. So try your best to keep things summarized. The higher your time frame, the less likely you are to FOMO into something. That doesn't mean to do all your trades off the 4 hour, but you should be starting from there and then narrowing your way down once things are looking good all the way down to the 1. Start from the top and work your way down. Do not just stay here or here and never take the zoom out onto a higher time frame and then decide that you're going to do something. You will probably fail. All right. That being said, let's take a look from the 4 hour, or let's just start from the daily. From the daily perspective, super bullish move here. But even here, it does look like you can just see how we started to curl over here. And maybe I'll polyline this so you can see it a little better. We've started to curl over a little bit. Not a super clean line, but that doesn't really matter. But you can kind of see what's happening here. We've lost a little momentum here on the top side. And we're starting to move a little horizontally. You see this little change of direction here? Instead of going straight up, now we're starting to curl. To me, that's a bit of a sign of weakness, as it should be. That's not a bad thing, but this right here is kind of telling me that there's a high chance that we might see some sort of pullback of some sort. It does not have to be a major pullback, but some sort of healthy pullback before we do a continuation, because things typically do not go straight up for extended period of time. Even look at the first move up here. Yeah, we went up for a long time, massive pullback, long time, and deep pullback, deep pullback, deep pullback. Here we have not had any deep pullbacks yet. We've just been ranging up. And typically when you range up like that, that's more of a sign that, yeah, you're in an uptrend. But when you're doing that, what is it called? Like an ascending, not quite a wedge, but anytime you start trading horizontally up like that on a diagonal, just like a horizontal trend channel, usually you're going to break out the other side in the other direction. So if I've got something like this forming, a trend channel that looks, oh, you can't do that diagonally. A lot of times if I have something like this forming and the price action is just doing all this, just clean all the way up, the breakout is probably not going to necessarily be to the top side, but usually the breakout of that channel is going to be to the weak side, in the opposite direction of the trend, basically is what I'm trying to say. So there's a chance that we're going to fall out of this a little bit harder. We already did fall out right here, because if we had this actually drawn, you can see that the support line was actually right about here. And so we already did kind of break out the bottom side of that when we hit here. And just depending on how you look at it, that perspective can change even more. You know, we fell out a little harder the more time that you consider. But either way, see all that. So we already did kind of break the uptrend's momentum. But still, this really was not a pullback. And yeah, if we're super bullish and just keep getting news, keep getting catalysts and all that good stuff, we can keep pumping and pumping and pumping. But eventually, there's going to be the pullback. And the more extended we get, the more aware that you should be that there's probably going to be some kind of correction coming first before the next push. And I think the 52,000 level is about that time where Mustang? Is that a Mustang? Is about that time where I start thinking, all right, we may have maxed out. Everyone's price target, just like ADA's was $3. That's what everybody wanted to hit so bad. Bitcoin's was 51. It was 50, 51-ish. Top's 52. So even if this is not the top and we do one more little move, I don't really think we're going to go much above 52,000. So in my mind, we're basically about where we're going to get before correction. Of course, Bitcoin with its wild trading, random news, random influencers around the world saying stuff that manipulates the price randomly, I can easily be proven wrong. There's so many factors, but just based off the technical analysis, if we don't have news catalysts manipulating the price, we should be about due for a pullback. You can already see we're kind of rocketing below the 50,000 level here. We're already at 49.8 by 20 minutes into this video, and we're heading down to 49.5. That's where the 50 EMA is on the 1 minute. Where else could we see some stopping points? Around 49 according to the 4 hour. Let's drop it down. We're around 49.5 on the 30 minutes 100, and 49.5 on the 15 minutes 200. So this is most likely where everybody's looking at as a stopping point, which means it's highly likely that we're going to see some strong bounce off of 49,600. So keep that in mind. If you are looking for an entry and you do not believe that we're going to go down, your buy point should be somewhere in this general area, because there's a high chance that this is where it stops. You've got multiple powerful EMAs on different time frames. Like I said, so let's just change the time frame up a little more. You can see we're on the smaller time frames trying to reclaim the 200 EMA on those, but that's probably not going to happen. Keep in mind, the lower the time frame, the weaker the EMA. So the 3 and 10 minute is probably not going to hold that much weight, even though it's trying. But the 15 minute, the 200 is there. The 30 minute, the 200 is just about there. In the 1 hour, you've got the 50 EMA there. And then what time frame was? Oh yeah, the 30 minute time frame, you have the 100 EMA. So there's a lot of different EMAs sitting at 49.5, 49.6. That's where I think it's going to stop falling, and then bounce, and then decide what it wants to do next. So at that point, you'll just have to look at the strength of the bounce to determine if you bought in at that dip at 49.6, if it's worth continuing to hold, or if you should just sell at what looks like the top of the bounce and wait for it to finish, then pulling back and maybe pulling back and continuing down further. because things typically, you know, even if it's going down, it's going to be kind of stair-stepping, bouncing, going down further, bouncing up, going down further, kind of like that. Now, let's translate this into Dogecoin. Dr. Derb says 25 cents this weekend. I don't think that's impossible. Due to the fact that we did kind of max out short term, I think, just off this one push alone at 51,000. If we can get a healthy pullback on Bitcoin, I think we're going to see somewhere around 26 to 27 cents on Doge. Now, 25 cents is pretty low. I think we're going to have to be under 45,000 on Bitcoin to see 25 on Doge, to be honest. Those numbers below like 26 cents are kind of hard to hit. But if we get a deep enough pullback on Bitcoin for whatever reason, it's possible. So then the question becomes, is it possible for Bitcoin to go down to like 44K? Yes, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that's being a little pessimistic. Now, that would just be saying that we're going to get a bounce to this level right here. Yeah, while that does not look crazy, you know, it could happen. That's falling through a lot of levels. All your EMAs, this level of support here as well at right around 37, the next level at right around 36 flat, and then continuing to fall a couple $1,000 left going all the way down to this level of support. If that happens, there's probably going to be some bad news that brought us down to 44,000 on Bitcoin, which is not going to be a really great sign. And maybe 44,000 wouldn't even be the bottom. But I don't think Dogecoin 25 is going to happen. Not yet. So there's that. If we flip it over to the Doge, what we're all really here for, among other things, but mostly the Doge, right? Doge has been doing pretty decent. And you can see here, it kind of did that same double bottom thing that Bitcoin did, except it was more of a slant, but it still counts. And now what we've seen is Dogecoin break above all these EMAs, make its way up, stall out at 31 cents twice. So it's pretty much topped out there. And no matter what Bitcoin did next, it really just traded sideways overall, right at around the 30-cent level. Didn't really drop, didn't really make any moves up. Horizontal trading, as most of the onlookers just watched to see, well, what is Bitcoin going to do next? So you can see all the extra volatility that was going on here, whereas Dogecoin was just trading sideways. As far as price targets on Dogecoin is concerned, like I said, let's take a look at our EMAs for just obvious levels of support that everyone will be looking at regardless of how they draw their charts out with support and resistance lines. We can see right around 29 cents flat. We've got a bunch of levels meeting us right in that general area. 29 cents flat. Pretty much across all time frames, there's at least one EMA. So falling under 29 is going to be what's difficult. Now, where are we going to catch? That's the next question. Under 29, what do we have? Not a whole lot, which is the concern. I think you have to go up quite a bit to get some EMAs under. And the next EMA is right around a little under 28 cents. So somewhere in the 27 level is going to be our next hope for a stopping point if we fall under 29, unless Bitcoin has an EMA to look at, and that ends up holding Dogecoin up. But other than that, then your next EMA is pretty much down to 23 cents. So, yeah, we'll probably see 29. I don't know if we'll see 27-ish. If we do, that's probably about the bottom. And if Bitcoin continues to do bad, then a Dogecoin is going to be in a really bearish position. And you're going to have to start looking horizontally for levels. And that could bring us back down to about either 27 flat or into this dip zone that I talked about before. If Bitcoin does really bad over the weekend going into next week, then maybe you'll get a buy anywhere from like 24 to 26.5. But like I said, that's going to take a lot. So I'm trying not to be overly pessimistic, because what ends up happening is you keep thinking, I'm going to be super, super bearish. It's going to drop just down to where I want it. And you can greed yourself out of taking a good entry at a higher level, at a really good support level, because you have your heart, your emotions set on getting a dip buy in a little window, even though the technicals may not point to that being possible. So this is what's possible if bad things happen on Bitcoin. If not, I'd be looking more at 27, 28. And then just play it by ear. Once we hit that, we'll take another look at the charts, see how our price action is, how our candles are looking once we've hit that level. If they look strong, like we're going to bounce up, or if they look weak, like this level's not going to hold, that's where you do your next evaluation. Moving on to ADA here. ADA's been doing fine. ADA did stall out after it hit 3. That was where most of the hype was. So people took a lot of profit once it stalled out after the run to 3. Then it made another run back up to 3, and it's been selling off since. I'm not bearish on ADA, but a lot of the hype was to get to $3. So it's probably going to cool off for a bit. Then over the next week, as we get closer to the 12th, we'll probably see more momentum kick in and another bullish run towards, I think, probably 350. I don't see any reason to not be buying ADA up to 350. I don't see anything stopping it. So I'd be very bullish on that. So that could be a play this week, ADA. Feel free to ask questions, guys, by the way. Fallen into resistance too many times looking at the 1 minute. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The 1 minute. If you guys are having problems with FOMO, if you're having problems with what feels like you're buying the top, you know, every time you buy, it goes down. Every time you sell, it goes up. Your problem is probably you're using too low of a time frame. It is very unlikely that you're going to place a buy on the 30-minute chart and be that wrong. You know what I mean? Start from the 4-hour, make your way down to the 30, find what looks like a great entry spot on something like the 30 time frame after you've identified the area first on the 4. So basically what I can do, hide all my indicators. Let's hide even the EMAs. So just by taking a bird's eye view here of ADA, let me not do ADA, let me do Dogecoin because ADA's on a bull run based off Catalyst. So I'm looking at Dogecoin right here, 4-hour time frame. What areas automatically stand out as potential areas of value? The easiest way to identify areas of value is look at where most of the trading activity consolidated. Where was a lot of the horizontal activity taking place the most? So just by glancing, I can see this area here lined up with this area here. Like this was a bottom, and there was a lot of trading activity on horizontally there as well. And there you can see that's also about where tops were. So you've got resistance, trading sideways, and support. So right in this general area, like I was saying, 28-ish cents down to maybe like 26.5. This is probably going to be the most likely dip zone, where even if it goes a little lower, it might spring load and bounce up like it did here. So right in this general area, I can see is the area of buying. So that means if I'm looking at it right here, I'm probably not just going to place an entry. Whereas if I were looking at the 1 minute time frame, I might see, oh, we've gone down so much here. It looks like short term, very short term, there was some support right here at 29. So I'm going to buy at 29 cents when in the big picture, that's up here. So, and just come 3 hours later, I mean, we could be down here, and you know, you bought towards the top because your time frame was too low. You weren't looking at the right information. So, do not start on the 1 minute time frame. Start from the top, then make your way down. Even the 30-minute would kind of keep you from buying here. You see that? Because now you can see you're actually up, super extended compared to the bottoms. So, but if I go to even the 3-minute time frame, can't see enough information. This kind of looks like supports right here. If I go to the 15-minute, it's a little bit better, but even still, I might place a buy a little early. But this one's actually not too bad. Probably just don't go under 15. You resent it as direct message. Okay, I'll pull it up in just a second. Let's see. And hope you're doing good, Cedric and Dr. Derbs. Thanks for hanging out. So, what I'm going to do is, so that's Dogecoin. I'm looking at 27 flat would be sweet. 28 cents would be all right. And that's towards the bottom. Probably won't overgreed it. But if I'm going to be considering a 28 buy, especially, I'm going to be making sure I'm checking out the strength of the candles once we hit. And by the time we get down there, hopefully that would be tomorrow's next live stream so that I can do TA for y'all and keep you from doing something risky. But that's where we're at. Flipping to, what did I not talk about yet? Ethereum. Ethereum's still doing very well. You can see it actually hit 4,000, guys. It hit 4,000 just a couple hours ago. This was yesterday. Incredible. Ethereum's doing so well, as it should be. Ethereum's going to be blowing the doors off of its previous all-time high, which was 4,380 very soon. And then it's going to be making its way up towards 5,000 and then 7,500 and then 10,000 and beyond. So Ethereum's got a long way ahead of it. It's just at this point kind of expensive asset. So if you got a lot of money, that might be a play you want. But percentage gains off investment, may not be quite as high as something that's cheaper where people are where there's more volatility, but still super solid investment. This Cardano, Solana, I guess, even though technically it's better. Like I said, community is very important, and word of mouth, people talking about it. You want to be looking into cryptos where people have that crypto's name in their mouth. I don't hear enough about Solana quite yet. Maybe if I was taking a chance, I would have just bought it earlier. But as of now, since it's already started to run up, I'd be feeling a little more risky. Let's queue this up. We'll probably take a look at it in just a moment. Oh yeah, I need to sub to this guy. I've seen his videos a couple times. Of course, hit the like button, guys, on this stream too if you have not. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. So now let's take a look at Coinmarketcap.com and let's just see how everything's doing today. I looked at this one called Burn Doge. I might put like $100 in here and just see what happens because it's a new Doge related coin and it could be a YOLO play, you know. Looks like it just came out today and it's called Burn Doge. It's super cheap, which is going to bait a lot of people into buying it up, I think. And then when investors hold Burn Doge, their wallet balance continues to increase automatically. The 4% distributions are calculated based on the size of the transaction and then distributed to Burn Doge holders proportionally to the size of the individual's holdings. So basically, you buy some coin, you stake, and then you earn based off transaction fees, which is pretty standard, even though they made it sound fancy. We have a mechanism that's called Burning Wallet, where we lock a certain amount of the token for a period of time. When it's unlocked by phases, all of the token will be sent to the burn addresses, thus creating price stability for the token. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Basically, it's a Dogecoin coin. Just came out today. You know how Dogecoin coins like to do. They like to pump, and this one's super cheap. So I probably will throw $100 in here, and if it goes to zero, I don't care. If it goes to $10,000, sweet. Mariano on a hype coin. I do a hype coin every once in a while, but notice I said $100 and not $10,000. Nor did I say I'm going to be putting $100 into multiple coins. I only do this. This is like my once a month. Will I invest in a hype coin and see what happens? $100 allowance. So, you know, before I did it with SHIB, before SHIB had any catalysts, it worked out okay. And then I haven't really done much since then. I was looking at what's it called? Doge Cash. Because that one at least sounded cool, but I don't think people are going to like that very much. So I did not move forward. But this one literally just came out, and it has not pumped quite yet. It started at 3. Actually, it has. I lied. It's already 3x'd. Man, and it just came out today. Yeah, I'm gonna put $100 in there. Actually, really soon. Why not? But it's on the trending of Coinmarketcap. Bonus cake is up 300%. Jeez. Yeah, it does kind of sound like the Safe Moon concept. Look at Solana doing well. Top 5 on trending. Very cool. Anyway, looking at the coins that actually matter. Bitcoin is up 2% over the last 7 days. Just breaking even today. Hasn't really moved up much. Ethereum's up 20%. Like I said, it's been killing it. Up 2.5% today. Cardano's actually down 2% today, though. Not doing so good. Like I said, selling off some of that hype. And we're starting to notice that in the price falling a little harder than the others. But it's still up 3% over the last 7 days, so that's not bad. Who cares about these two, really? XRP is doing about the same as the others. It's up about 10% over the last week, but up about 1% in the last 24 hours, which isn't much, but it's okay. Solana is the one that's been killing it, as we know, up 66% over the last 7 days, up 13% in the last day. Solana's on a run. It was just at $130. Now it's at $146. Pretty good coin if you're trying to look for a long play off the Bitcoin moves up to probably sit your money in. If the volatility on Dogecoin and Ethereum isn't doing it for you, I'd probably look into ADA or Solana, since they both have catalysts and good news and a lot of hype right now to ride the bullish wave up, and then you get higher percentage gains because of the volatility. Dogecoin not doing good, just like Cardano, down about 1.5%, and it also is just not up either over the last week, so it's very neutral. We've been chilling at about 29 cents, so that makes sense. No pun intended. Then Polkadot's doing fine. I don't care too much for it at this moment. Chainlink making its way up. Number 13 on the list. That is crazy. Let's take a look and find SHIB, even though I don't care. Oh, SHIB has fallen. How the mighty SHIB has fallen. Down to 50th place. It was just at like 43rd about 3 weeks ago. Pretty unfortunate, but a lot of the more useful coins, I guess you could say, are starting to make their way up the list. I don't have anything against SHIB. Like I said, I have bought it, traded, held it before. I just don't see the real reason to, except for Shiba Swap, which saved the day. SHIB, to me, doesn't have enough of a purpose yet. I don't think the community is quite there yet for me. AMP still pretty low here, 60th place. Could use some work, but it is still at about 6 cents, which isn't bad, especially with the hack. And that's pretty much all I care about there from that list. Look at this, Liquidity Dividends Protocol. Up 12,000%. What happened there? That doesn't make any sense. Down 9,000% in the last 24 hours. How does that even happen? Jeez. Mini Cardano. They really made a Cardano knockoff. Come on, y'all. This isn't like Dogecoin knockoff. Okay. Cardano knockoff. Huh? Clover. XRP is your dark horse. Yeah, it'll probably do some numbers. I think it will too. Why was Doge 32 last time Bitcoin was 50? Dogecoin just the problem is with altcoins, especially the popular ones, people tend to put their money in the one that's doing the best because it becomes a distraction. ADA and Solana have been those coins. Dogecoin hasn't really had any catalysts that people have been really buying into. So I think that's most of the problem. Just people are distracted and don't really have a reason to buy up Dogecoin as opposed to the other popular altcoins. Once we get a catalyst, though, Dogecoin should gain some more percentage points. But when Doge doesn't have any good news, it kind of just trades sideways and struggles. Hey, what's up, Giselle? Any thoughts on Hex? I've been meaning to look at Hex. Doge has been around 28 since June or July. So tiring, I agree. And that's another thing. People are just getting bored. So when you see something like ADA get a good announcement and you see something like Solana start getting a lot of traction, then why hold Doge? Unless that's all you can grab. So I feel like that's part of the problem. People are just diversifying. And this is what happened after the crash. Don't forget. Remember after first of all, after SNL, everybody started diversifying once the Dogecoin volatility started to die off and the price started to cool down and sell off. People started to diversify into other programs. So we had all the Dogecoin knockoffs and everything. Everybody wanted to chase the next big move. And that's just a lot of the. Of course, Hex Slams would be here to say Hex. That's funny, just out of nowhere. But that's part of the problem with Dogecoin. It has attention and gets a lot of movement when there is a catalyst for people to get excited about. When there's not, Dogecoin trades very sideways, which isn't bad. Stability is good, especially for a coin we want to hold value and store value. But it does not tend to move up as fast as some of the other guys that have constant catalysts. So smart contracts and all that stuff. I think Dogecoin will move a little bit more come 1.14.5 when I believe that's when they're going to be like forcing. Well, that might be 1.21. But they're soon going to be kind of forcing that transaction fee reduction. But right now, we still have a small catalyst, which is the majority of nodes at this point are running 1.14.4. Which is recommending the transaction fees the minimum be reduced, so people can now charge less, but it's not forced yet. But we're getting there with Dogecoin. Doge is just in last place as far as news is concerned, so it's not doing much. John says, where am I buying that coin? I don't know quite yet. I haven't gotten that far. I just saw this right as I was starting the stream. Let's see. It says it's on PancakeSwap. So yeah, probably PancakeSwap. That looks like the move. That means you'll have to buy some Ethereum, I believe, right? Which I'm already not looking forward to. That might deter me in itself. Ethereum's just way too expensive right now. for the network fees. Yeah. Derb says I missed the ADA train. That's how noob I am. You did. You definitely missed a great entry point, unfortunately. The nice thing about these coins that are going to make big runs is it's so much better when you can do a stress-free trade and buy in low and just ride the wave and not have to worry about it, versus looking for an entry much later and trying to time the dip and hoping that is the last dip, and then trying to figure out how much money you want to invest, all that stuff. So you did miss the buy-in, which was at like 240, where, you know, by now you probably would just be sitting on it and not really messing with it and just waiting for $4 or $5 to happen. But there are still some opportunities here. We still could see a pullback to about 270, and that will probably be the lowest I think ADA is really going to go. But that is if Bitcoin soon, before ADA takes off more next week, that is if Bitcoin does a deep pullback. If it does not, that ship may have even sailed, and maybe right now, right around 290s is about the lowest we'll see. Because I think by September 12th, ADA will probably be somewhere near $3.50. So that's another 20% move. I probably wouldn't overgreed it. Maybe just start scaling in now and just keep an eye on which way the price is going and DCA. Ah, gotcha. Only problem with that is the way leverage works. If the price goes down and you've leveraged your $1,000, if you're all in, you lose money at that whatever multiple rate that you're leveraging at. So let's just say you use 20x leverage. You're going to lose money. So with $1,000, if you go 20x leverage, you're leveraging basically $20,000 worth of ADA, which is great. But if the price starts going down and you didn't buy at the right time, you start losing money off of the equivalent of a $20,000 position, and that gets taken out of your $1,000. So it won't take you very long to lose $1,000 off your $20,000 investment. And if you do lose $1,000, since that's all your capital, you will get liquidated, which means that they will close your position at break even, which will be $0, and your $1,000 will become $0 very fast, because you are losing money 20 times faster than you would have if you had just bought in with $1,000. So keep that in mind. That is the risk of leverage trading. It is very easy to go bankrupt. And that's why a lot of people just don't even leverage trade crypto. I honestly would not recommend it, but if you want to try it, that is more of a YOLO play. I jumped into the NFT marketplace and created 61 NFTs. I call them non-fungible boogers. I have them up for auction for 0.001 ETH. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I'm having a good day, man. Hopefully you're having a good day too. Bad Artist on OpenSea. Let's check it out. I actually have not interacted with NFTs whatsoever, but I do know OpenSea is the place. So let's go to OpenSea.io. And you said Bad Artist. Oh, so this is some of your stuff? 61 ETH, bro. Oh, that's not you. Oh, yes, it is. 238,000? My guy. That's your YOLO play right there. You're just like, I hope someone will buy that. I need to do one of those. This one's kind of cool. 61 ETH. I hope someone buys that. If they do, please give me like 10%. I don't need a lot. I just need 10%. That's it. I'm just playing. Kind of. I jumped into... I read that one. Let's see. Gas is ridiculous. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Dr. Derbs. Cool. Look for the boogers. Nice. Would it be a terrible idea to sell my Doge for ADA? No, not at all. I did that a while ago. Thing is, you guys know I am all for Dogecoin for what Dogecoin is, but I am not a Dogecoin fanboy to the point where like I am buying my Doge, diamond handing my Doge to $5, never going to sell my Dogecoin. Like, that is just not me. I am just a trader that got into cryptocurrency and that likes Dogecoin a lot. So if Dogecoin is not providing me the money-making opportunity, I will temporarily take my money out, buy up whatever is looking good, make my profit, and then come back and buy more Dogecoin with it at a good price. Because I do like to come back to Dogecoin. That is kind of my favorite crypto. But there is no emotional attachment to Dogecoin for me. It is just a coin. And honestly, a lot of the community's been driving me nuts as well recently. Just being a little annoying. A lot of clout chasing on Twitter in the Doge community. A lot of people taking advantage of situations, taking advantage of accepting Doge for marketing purposes, and it just very clearly being marketing only. So there's some things about the Doge movement I don't like, but overall I still like it, so I'm still here. You're down 8%, it's the only reason. Well, I'd be careful because at this moment, but yeah, overall I still like my Dogecoin. At this moment though, ADA, because it's so extended, is selling off at a slightly faster rate than Dogecoin is. Whoa, okay, well, now it's not, what just happened? But it was. You can see they're just about both 2% down. So ADA is falling at about the same rate, but I think Cardano is going to give you the best chance of getting gains going into next week. So regardless of where you bought in, I do think ADA is going to head towards $3 and at least 25 cents, which is going to be 10% plus over next week. So pretty low risk to buy into Cardano right now versus being in Dogecoin, in my opinion. And my problem with Solana, obviously there's more profit potential here. It's already up 20% over the last day, but who knows where it's going to stop and decide to pull back. That's why, it'd be more of a FOMO buy at this point. ADA is probably the only one I could recommend. And if you look at the steep move up, little concerning. Yeah, AMP is a good play as well. ACH at under 8 cents is also a very good play. Is it up here on the top 100 yet? Not seeing it, so let's type. Get in there. It's getting there. And the reason I'm saying that is because look at this. The initial move up was all the way to 20 cents. Deep pullback to 6. This actually isn't even showing it how I want to see it. So let's drop this down a bit. And Rick was able to grab this, so that's pretty cool. But you can see on the run up, there was this deep pullback to right around 6 to 7-ish right here. Then this massive move up to 20. Then a deep pullback right back down to 6.5. If you're able to buy somewhere at this area, 6.5 to 7, that's a pretty good play. As long as you're somewhat bullish on ACH, that could be a nice one because this is very volatile. It's been doing moves from like 7 to 15 to 6 to 14. It could get another 6 to 10. Either way, that you're almost 2xing each time that happens. So ACH at around 6, 7, 8 is pretty good. And it's a very similar play to ADA, just way more volatile. For better or worse. Let's see. 3 to 10 is the same as 30 to $1. Yep, exactly. The only thing is, then you have to just consider, well, which one is going to be easier to hit that target, that 3.5x target? Is Dogecoin more likely to hit $1 before ADA hits 10? That's the question. Now, Dogecoin can pretty easily get close. I think it is still going to be hard to hit the $1 target, especially with people wanting to take profit and lock in up top in the 90s. But is it going to be easier for Dogecoin to hit $1 than it is going to be for ADA to hit 10? I don't know that it is, honestly. I think Cardano with smart contracts will bump it up to near 5, head into 6 pretty easily. And then, getting to 10 is just going to be development, more apps, more people using it, all that stuff. Can that happen by the end of the year? I think so, if things really continue to accelerate quickly. Whereas Dogecoin, we're still waiting on Elon Musk and have to hope that he follows through and that all things go perfectly well in Doge world. As far as updates are concerned, Elon Musk acceptance, maybe Amazon or Walmart acceptance, all these catalysts we still need, where things like Ethereum, Cardano, they have like roadmaps with dates and timelines and such set out where we don't have those. So it's way easier to believe that one of those would be able to do that kind of move faster because we at least have a roadmap. Whereas on Doge, we're just trying to take our best guess. But I still have faith in both. You bought more Safe Moon. Hopefully that works out for you, man. That's a lot. 2,300 bucks. Jeez. I actually don't know about Trust Wallet though. Yeah, exactly what Preezy said. He said ADA's more of a solid play. Doge still trying to find a real position post hype, but ADA's where it's supposed to be. Find itself post hype. I agree. It's doing really, really well. All things considered, guys, you got to keep in mind for Dogecoin being like a coin that does not have the same kind of value. It's just a store value coin that is not hyper deflationary and all these, key buzzwords. It's just a coin. For that to be the case, and we're still following market leaders and we're still in the top 10 coins on Coinmarketcap with no utility other than being something we can use to exchange value, Dogecoin's doing very well. It's holding stable, it's not dumping, it's doing just as good as a lot of the other altcoins, if not better sometimes, and it doesn't even have a catalyst right now, and it's hanging on. So Dogecoin's doing very well, but that does not mean that at this moment Dogecoin is where the money is to be made. That does rotate throughout the cryptocurrency space. And right now I have to say it's in ADA, and maybe there's still some more left in Solana. It's just getting pretty extended for me. But yeah, ADA is probably where the money's at short term. Cardano has rolled out smart contracts functionality on its testnet. I'm surprised there wasn't more momentum today. Probably still waiting for the full go live on the 12th. I think that's where we'll see a lot of the pickup. AMP is 61. Yeah, AMP was 60 when I was just there. AMP was 60. But ACH was like 240 something. Yeah, AMP is 60 still. At about 5.5 cents. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about all this. Dogecoin's heading down towards 29 flat. I am not, like I said, I'm not bullish short term on Doge or Bitcoin or, maybe somewhat Ethereum and ADA. But for those that don't have strong catalysts at this moment, so Bitcoin, Dogecoin, that type of thing, maybe even Ethereum to an extent, they hit some strong resistance here at these levels. 31 cents was Dogecoin's strong resistance, probably no higher than 32. 51,000 was Bitcoin's, no higher than 52. Ethereum 4,000. Like, these guys all hit their tops. Their short-term tops that everyone had in mind, like where do I want, if I'm holding, where would I want to take profit? It hit those points and kind of surpassed them even a little bit, just enough for people to get their greed out and sell. So I think we're pretty nicely set up for a deep pullback opportunity, at least. Whether or not that's going to play out, we'll have to see. You can see there's a angle here where you can say that Dogecoin right now is doing a bit of a bull flag. If you looked right here, you could say that it's doing a double bottom into a bull flag here, and that is possible. There is still a chance it goes up, but I'm just saying it's way better set up to go down. So I'm not bullish right now. We hit highs. I think it's cool down time. It's what makes more sense, and anything else will just be a pleasant surprise. Oh, Cedric, what's going on, man? Cedric has subscribed to the YouTube channel and become a super member. Thank you. I appreciate that support, man. Glad to have you. We'll be very glad to see you in the Discord group. And to get in, just go ahead and go to the homepage of my YouTube channel. And if you click on the community tab, you'll see a link right there at the top, and that will let you into the Discord group. And if you're not a super member, don't try it because it is not visible to people that are not members. there's no workaround there. But if anyone else wants to join, of course, feel free. Click the join button and become a member like Cedric. Cryptex Finance? Not familiar, unfortunately. Yeah, it's so crazy. ADA was just $1 something. It's already 3x'd and it's got more room to go. It's crazy. Hex, that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, he just added them. Okay. How low will AMP go? AMP hasn't gone much under like $3.50. I mean, cents. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the lowest that I would even consider like a dip buy on AMP would be somewhere in the 4 cents area. If you just look at the all-time here, ever since it took off, it's been hovering somewhere around kind of no lower than 4 cents. And even here in May, it went to like 3.5 on the bad Bitcoin crash here. On that last dip to 29, I believe was right around, wait, no, this was actually the first crash. Yeah, AMP around 4 cents is pretty good. 4 to 4.5 cents is a pretty good dip. And it's had some spikes up to like 7 recently. So where it is right now is a little on the lower side, but kind of right smack in the middle. I would love to see AMP at 5 cents flat or a little lower, like 4.5 cents. Absolutely. Look at Cedric with the green name. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. I think we've had 74 people through, but only less than 20 likes. Any other questions, though, before we wrap it up? Let's go ahead and take a look at this video that the Artful Doger sent. And let's just see if there's anything to be said here. It's only 7 minutes. We'll probably skim through it. Keep it closer to like 3.
Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping
Let me turn it up.
into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to be discussing whether the idea of September pullbacks are recency bias or if they have always existed. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. If you guys like this content and want access to more of this type of content, then check out the premium list sale. It is ending tomorrow. So go ahead and check it out. Lock in the low rate. You will get access to weekly reports.
Rick says, any bottom guess? Yeah, so my Doge bottom guess is going to be somewhere around just under 28 cents. So if we looked at the chart here, through the EMAs back up, there was one EMA right here on the 4-hour time frame. The 200 EMA is right at like 27.75. By the time we fall, though, that'll be closer to 28. And there's just a lot of 28 cent support from the other EMAs as well, like 29-ish area. But the lowest one we have is 27.75, which is going to be at about 28 by the time we'd fall. So I don't think we're going much under 28. The only way we're going to do that is if Bitcoin crashes down towards like 45 and under, in which case I think by that time we could be in that 24 to like 27 range that I had highlighted in blue on Doge. But if we don't fall like below this 200 EMA here, I don't think we're going to be that low. So in my opinion, right around here is probably near like 27 cents. If we start getting weak here, then maybe we're under that. Where was I? Oh yeah, we were on this video.
Reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the risk dashboard, and more. Let's go ahead and jump in. So what does this table show? Well, it shows, going back to the inception of Bitcoin for months that we have data, it shows the monthly returns. Okay, so if you bought Bitcoin at the very beginning of the month and then you sold it at the very end of the month, what would your ROI have been? And you may have noticed that I've said many times that Bitcoin tends to not do so well in September. But I also say that just because it's what I've recently experienced. And a lot of times, recency bias can affect our view on the market. It is my opinion, in the same way, a lot of people assume that the market cycle peak has to be in December because it was in December last time. And then they may point to the fact, or what they consider to be a fact, of the market cycle peak for Bitcoin happening in December of 2013. But actually, on most exchanges that I looked at, in fact, all of the ones that I looked at, the market cycle peak for Bitcoin in 2013 was actually at the end of November. And then the one in 2011 happened in the summer. So again, recency bias has a way of clouding our judgment because we base it on what we've recently experienced and not what are prior trends. So for instance, with pullbacks in September, it's what I've recently experienced over the last few years. But I also was like, well, what if it hasn't always been like that? And in order to do that, in order to investigate whether it's recency bias or not, we simply need to do nothing more than look at the data and challenge our assumptions. So is it recency bias or not? If you look at September returns by Bitcoin, 2020 was negative 7.5%, 2019 negative 13.5%, 2018 was negative 6%, 2017 was negative 8%. So what do we notice? Well, the last 4 years, the returns on Bitcoin in September have actually been negative. So we can at least say that there is some recency bias there to say, well, the reason I speculate that September will not be the best month in the world for Bitcoin is because it hasn't recently been the best month for Bitcoin over the last 4 years. But if you go back even further, you can see that every September is not always red. For instance, in 2016, Bitcoin increased by approximately 6% in September. In 2015, it increased by about 3% in September. Now, I don't know anyone in their right mind getting out of bed for a 3% or a 6% gain in Bitcoin over the span of a month. But it does at least show that it can go up in the month of September. But if you go back even further to 2014, you can see another 20% or 19% drop in September. 2013 was about a 0.6% gain. And then 2012 was the only double-digit gain by Bitcoin in September, coming in at a very modest 22%, capping it off in 2011 with a negative 37% drop. So some brief statistics here are that out of 10 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them were red. So 6 out of 10, 3/5, a 60%, or out of 60% of the time, September has been red. But we could also take that one step further and say that 90% of the time, the gains in September have been less than double digits, okay? Either positive or at a loss. 90% of the time, the gains in September have been less than double digits to the upside. And the only time where we saw a double-digit gain in September was, again, back in 2012, so almost a decade ago.
So this is actually this is good information to grab because this helps you get some insight. Basically, what he did was he went like month over month and jotted down the price gain or loss month over month, and jotted down the percentage and formed this kind of graph here. What we can see, just at a glance, is that historically, going into September, if you're not looking at 2012, September has been a pretty notoriously bad month for Bitcoin. Each year, you can see 2011 was down 37%, down 20%, only low single-digit gains here. Down 8, down 6, down 14, and down 7.5. So, though we are now coming from a market crash here, which should set us up better for potential gains because we have a lot of room to recover. looking just over even the last 4 years straight, they've been red. And if you go to like the last 10 years, which he did here, is they've been poor overall. Preview says on the flip side, May is usually green, but was red this year. Yeah. So it's good to look at it historically, but like I said, we're in a weird situation here. May though was red because of Elon, so we do have to keep in mind that we had somebody manipulate the market into this red. But this is still interesting, I think, and it's not going to tell us exactly what's going to happen. But if people are looking at this data, they might have that recency bias that he was mentioning towards feeling like, emotions are so important in trading. A lot of people, they don't trade like robots. And even when it comes to like making the decision of if you're going to hold on to something, if you're going to buy more at some point, or if you're just going to exit your position at some point, that decision alone is usually driven off of emotions. Even if when you're going to buy, you decide like when to time it, not being emotional, and you trade it properly, the decision of if you're going to is usually emotionally driven. Tends to be that way. So people looking at this, it might make people feel a little bearish into September. I would like to see some kind of trend into what the next couple months tended to look like after a 30% crash, because you can see by the dark red, because he did some conditional formatting by percentage on this Excel sheet. You can see that by the dark red, looks like dark red is 30+% according to his algo. So let's see. When there was a bad month, is there any trend into what happened next? Down 38, down 22. Okay, down 31, up. Down 32, up. Notoriously, when Bitcoin has crashed, it hasn't done that well the next couple months. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, look here, down 38. The next month was down another 22, and then the next month was break even, and then it had a good month, but then the rest were pretty lackluster. It had a 40% bounce, but then it was another -7, another -20, another -20, another -13. Here, down 38, down 38, down 37, down down 9, then a big bounce, and then the next couple ones were pretty lackluster. So yeah, we had 60 recovery, and then 16, which was nice, but then down 12, 0, 0, 4. Here we have down 31, then a nice bounce up 16, but then down 4, down 3, down 2, and then a 15%. And then here we've got down 32, up 33, but then down 20, down 15. The next couple months haven't been crazy. Notoriously, after a drop, we kind of just got back up to even and then had some bad months. So down 35, that's the way I'm looking at it, at least. What is this chart? He put it together. It's basically just showing price, like percentage movements month over month going back to 2011. And I'm looking at it from a different perspective to try to see if we can see some patterns and what happens after a 30-ish% drop like what we had in May. What was the recovery tendency? And usually from what I'm seeing is we'd have the drop. At some point, we'd have a bit of a strong percentage, like a double-digit percentage bounce or two. But then, for the most part, there would be some more red months before a big continuation. And you can see the big continuations are highlighted in blue. So, let's see. This was an up 200% month, up 300, up 150. Where was the continuation after these drops here? This was a big one. But then we didn't. And then, these, I guess, were decent. Slow move up the next year. Then here was a big one right here. March. I'm trying to look for some patterns. Hard to identify. He could have formatted this a little bit better with colors to identify some more information. Because he really only darkened the above 200s and kind of the above 100s. Everything that's like 50 to 90%, though, you can barely tell the difference between the normal. It would have been really nice to have those darkened, because those are big months. So, and it would have been nice to see August's metric. Now, obviously, and we could probably just find that ourselves, but obviously we have the 18% move up from July, which, let's see, July 7. So we're seeing the move from July to the end of July, which was only to here, to 42. But that's pretty big. So then what is 42,000 up to 51? That's about a 20% move, right? A little over 20%, maybe a 22% move up, because 20% would have been 8K. No, that's probably right around 20% actually, because it's 42 and some change, not 40. So, yeah, maybe it is 22%. Either way, doesn't matter. So we've got minus 30, 35, minus 6, plus 20, plus 20, which gets us back up to around where we came from. I don't know. Based off that, and this isn't much to look at, but I mean, what ended up happening was we dropped 38. Like I said, we dropped 30 or more, and then, I mean, here we had a 60% recovery. Here, we had a 20% bounce, but then more dropping before a big month. Here, again, about a 20% recovery, just like we had here. Just like we had right here, that 20% recovery. We still haven't had our big blue month. We haven't had like our 60% gainer yet. You see how, we haven't had our 50% to 60% gainer month, or even our 40. We haven't had this blue month yet after our drop. So still due for a massive month. So I don't know. That didn't tell me too much, but it was a good video though. I liked the info breakdown. All vacation? Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, okay. March and April 0. They could have been basically sideways trading months. You would think there'd be some number there, but maybe it was like a less than 1% month. I think the spreadsheet sometimes just puts 0 when it's less than 1. Maybe that's what happened there.
When we last saw double.
But anyway, interesting info. I would not be surprised. I mean, we just started September, and we started off September at 50. Consider this: we started off September at about $51,000. Everyone. So, where do we think the month of September is going to end? By the end of September, keep in mind October 1st is the deadline for. October 1st is the deadline for the infrastructure bill. So sometime during this month, we should be expecting to hear the final resolution on the infrastructure bill. As far as we're concerned, it has been passed, it has been pushed forward as is with no amendment. And we're starting the month off from a high point already, starting at 51,000 at the all-time high ever since the crash, and at a point where we've started to lose momentum on the uptrend. If I were to be a guessing man, that tells me we're most likely going to end red in some form or another. That doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have another move up here to like 55 at some point. But this, according to news, this month is not supposed to be a good month for Bitcoin, all things considered. This should not be the bull run month. Now, we did notice in the last month that the whales they pushed the price up for literally till the last moment. They jacked the price all the way up. They caused this bull run to happen here. They bought it. And then come the 23rd, come the day of the actual hearing, that's when they stopped buying, and that's when they started to sell off some, and that's when they also started to short some, even though it wasn't very much that they shorted because the pullback only stopped at 47 here. Yeah, that's what ended up happening. So, in my opinion, there is still room this month for it to be a red month because we didn't get most of the whales selling. I mean, they didn't really sell that hard here. It looks like a lot of them that longed are still holding. And I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens on this double bottom here. These moments right here are actually very important where we sit on the 4-hour time frame because we've got this double bottom. We had this pullback, nice move up, made a new high, pullback. We need to see what happens here. Do we stop here and make some more moves up? Do we come back to the 50 EMA, make some moves up, or even to the 100? Or do we start selling off to the 4-hour and below? Technicals aren't going to give us a good answer to that. It's going to have to, whether or not that's going to hold or not is going to depend on social sentiment and how people are feeling. But with the infrastructure bill supposed to be being passed by the end of this month, literally due date October 1st, my guess would be this is a red month. Whether, like I said, whether we just sell off here and end up somewhere down here by the end of the month, or we make a move up and then pull back and end somewhere under where we started, right around 51, my guess would be that we do end the month in the 40s. But we'll see. We shall see. Just guesses, just speculation for fun. Obviously, I don't have the answer, but that's just my opinion, and we'll see what happens. How do you determine if it will pull back to either the 150 or 200? It depends on strength of the trend, and usually you can figure that out by determining there's a lot of different things, like how long has it been running without getting a pullback to the level, looking at history to see how it typically interacts with those levels and what should be expected. So one thing, for example, I looked back at Bitcoin's history on the bull run up from like 10,000 all the way up to 65, which was a continuous bull run with no pullback. You can see there were substantial moves up, 20 to 40, pullback to 200 EMA, then 30 to 58, pullback to 200 EMA, and then 44 to 64. Well, I skipped one. Then it was to 60, pullback to the 200 EMA, 50 to 60, pullback to the 200 EMA. Like very consistent, like 10,000 moves up, pullbacks, 10,000 up, pullbacks. So that tells me that if we've been going from 32 to 50, $20,000, and we haven't had a 200 EMA pullback, we're probably overdue for one based off the history and the fact that Bitcoin typically likes to respect, even on bull runs, likes to respect the 200 EMA and get a bounce to reload off of it. And we've only been bouncing off the 100, which means we've been really bullish because we haven't been falling far enough, but we have still not been getting a deep enough pullback to really reload and make another big run. So overall, the trend could just be forming itself up to be like this overall, to where we're kind of getting these bounces and these moves up and these bounces and these moves up kind of in this direction. So maybe by November 1st, we're at 60,000, something like that, instead of as steep as we were initially thinking based off the way that it started. But anyway, just looking at a lot of different factors, like what's the news? Are we bullish at all? Are we more bearish? How are people feeling? And then these levels indicate strength. So if we're stronger, then we might just bounce off to 50. If we're like kind of more neutral, we might get a 100. If we're weaker, running out of steam, and we need a deep pullback to continue forward, then maybe the 200. And the 200 is the lowest one. So just depending on the strength of the trend and history. Kind of hard to explain. I'd have to probably take some more time on that. Cool, guys. Well, I think that was a pretty good stream. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. It's been pretty long here. Got a lot of good info out of it. Hopefully everybody was able to get some info out of it as well. This guy's name's Benjamin Cohen. That's his YouTube channel. If you want to go find this video, is Bitcoin in September, recency bias. Looks like it was one of his latest uploads. So just check him out. And you can, yeah, it's about 10 videos down right here. So go ahead and grab that if you wanted to go watch it. But I'm going to go ahead and head out, guys. If you have any other questions, please jot them down and be ready to ask them tomorrow in tomorrow's live stream. I'll be it's Saturday, so as long as things are going on, I will live stream. If it's dead, obviously I'll take that day off, but have them ready for that next stream. All right, guys, I'll catch y'all in the Discord group. Thank you all for your support, and have a great weekend. See you guys later.